Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your geographical location. I am your host, Oyinkro aka Electricity. Trust your week has gone well and you are having a great weekend. Today broadcast, it's also a wonderful time. Before I forgot, I would like to use this opportunity to congratulate all Nigerians at home and abroad for the victory of the Super Eagles. It was a wonderful thing again, a wonderful feeling to feel Nigeria again. Now, over the past weekend, Femi Falana was on this platform, or Mr. Femi Falana, a renowned activist, was on this platform, and he made a statement that touched me, and I felt we should look at in finding a lasting solution where possible to the issues plaguing the country, Nigeria. The president, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, made the following statement, which he said, I deserve Guinness World record recognition for economic reform. I read again. He said, quote and unquote, I deserve Guinness World Record recognition for what? For economic reform. Immediately, it was rebutted by what? By Peter Obi. He said, Tinubu should be, it wasn't a report, I beg your pardon. He said Tinubu should be in the Guinness World Records for causing Nigerians the most hardship. According to Mr. Peter Obi, if indeed that's the case, he said, yes, Mr. Tinubu is spot on to be what? In the Guinness Book of Records. But let's listen to what Mr. Femi Falana said that made me to say, yes, we need to shed more light on the statement he made, because the statement he made was actually true. Most people do not get it as to why he made that statement, but it is actually true. Take a listen, please. Thank you.
Today they are in charge. They have turned around to be those that pushed us to fight against oppression. Today, they are our greatest oppressors. What can we do to revive that spirit we used to have in the days? I look up to you. I look up to Ganifa Wehimi. I look up to Alisa Kakoba. I was ready to die for what I believe. You know, what has happened to us? Wow, right. What can you say about today's activism? Are we suddenly going to, are we sleeping? Can we continue like this? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Omori.
Thank you very much.
Mr. James.
Thank you very much, Mr. Omori. On the civil rights movement, like under the military, whereby we were united in fighting a common enemy to get the military off our back. Today, we're fighting principalities and forces that are already institutionalized, forces of oppression, forces of people disposition that have looted the treasury of the country and are still looting the treasury to consolidate their own power, And so to fight such monstrous forces require, again, almost a revolution, not just reforms. Sometimes we also make a mistake of talking of Nadeco in nostalgic terms. And I want to say here, and I'm ready to be challenged, Nadeco was more of a name chosen to harass the military. All the protests you mentioned were organized by young people.
As you can hear him, he said, we are fighting principalities, forces, monsters. But there was no solution as to how we fight these principalities and forces. And as such, I come here to let you know that there is indeed solution for us to fight these principalities. As such, it brings us to this statement. as to, but there was none like unto Ahab, which did sell himself to work wickedness in the sight of the Lord, whom Jezebel his wife stirred up. As a result, it comes up with I came up with this question. Now, this question is not for us to answer it. Okay? It is not a jam question or a question meant for an interview. No. Take a pause. We need to take a pause before we answer this question and look into the mirror. First, listen to my explanation as to who is steering him and what this statement signifies as to his wife, Ahab's wife, Jezebel, stirred him up. Now, there is one solution that I came across. There are many, about 5, but I omitted 4 deliberately to focus on one of the solution in fighting what? Principalities and forces, and these monstrous forces that has plagued us over these years. They are not difficult. They are something. This solution is something you and I actually knows about, because why? The program of ever increasing wickedness, we see it every time in our country. And here is the solution, which is just one solution among few that we need, which is truth. What do I mean by truth? For those of you who are familiar with that literature book, you will agree with Mr. Femi Falana, the statement he made, in that we are fighting principalities and forces, monstrous forces. However, like I said, we can overcome these principalities and monstrous forces by doing just one thing. Listen to this video again, play, because we're going to dwell on it throughout. I'm playing it again.
Today they are in charge. They have turned around to be those that pushed us to fight against oppression. Today, they are our greatest oppressors. What can we do to revive that spirit we used to have in the days? I look up to you. I look up to Ganifa Wahimi. I look up to Alisa Kakoba. I was ready to die for what I believe. You know, what has happened to us? Wow,
Right.
what can you say about today's activism? Are we suddenly going to, are we sleeping? Can we continue like this? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Omori.
Thank you very much.
Mr.
Thank you
James.
very much, Mr. Omori. On the civil rights movement, unlike under the military, whereby we were united in fighting a common enemy to get the military off our back, today we're fighting principalities and forces that are already institutionalized.
Now, here is one of the weapons that we need to fight these principalities and forces. And you will ask me, what do I mean by the truth? Now, Mr. Fallon, actually, I don't know if he realizes that he's quoting from that literature book, Ephesians chapter 6, which says that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and rulers of darkness. But also an armor has been provided, tools, help has been provided to fight these principalities. And truth, it's one of them. But I pick on truth because it will relate to most of us. Most of us. I pick on what? On truth. It's more than words. It's something we have to learn to apply. Because why? We will need it throughout our life. What do I mean by the truth in fighting principalities? Can we tell ourselves the truth? That's why I said, let's look into the mirror first before we answer that question as to who is steering what? The president. Because by the time we look into the mirror, we are going to find out that some of us are either also what? Principalities, or we've turned ourselves into principalities and forces and monstrous forces, or we are what? We are enablers. That's why I said we should be cautious in answering that question. Now, the story of Ahab and his wife, I pick one thing there. A lot of wickedness was done, but Naboth, a neighbor, has an inheritance to which Ahab is interested in, offered to buy it, but he refused. But Jezebel concocted a report against Naboth. Now, the funny thing there is that there were people that Jezebel paid just the same way people were paid to vote away their conscience, to what? To be false witness, so that Naboth will be killed and what? Ahab will claim the inheritance. When we vote away our conscience and we don't tell the truth, what are we doing? We are giving away our inheritance, that our children's children, the good things that what they will benefit, we give it away to what? To the principalities and forces and more. If you listen to the video again, it reference to Nadeko. He made this statement without apology. The principalities have been existing before now. Even the militaries are equally also principalities, because things didn't get better. But the civilians came into power. It got worse because we are not telling each other the truth. We fail to take responsibility and to fight these principalities and powers. It's more than you and I praying, regardless of what religion or belief you are aligned to. It's you and I having to stand up to start to tell each other the truth. For example, in the Constitution, it says, do not give bribe and take bribe. In Nigerian Constitution, do not give bribe and what? And take bribe. And for us to fight against these principalities and wicked forces, we must stop giving and taking bribe. So what is the point for me to pray all day and all night, and at the end of the day, I still give bribe or take bribe? What's the point? That's why I said we need to take a look into the mirror first. Then, before we can answer the question, because some of us, like I repeat, for emphasis sake, either have turned ourselves into principalities and monsters and monsters, or we've been what? An enabler. Then we need to ask ourselves, who and what is steering us in doing that act? Because why? When we do this act, generation to come, because we pass inheritance is passed from one generation to another. Sadly, we have always focused on material things as inheritance that we pass on. We've forgotten about truth. We've forgotten about integrity. We've forgotten about accountability. We don't think transparency is important to pass on as an inheritance. What we focus on the material stuff of what? Of which in itself is not bad if it's gotten rightly. we lose focus. But if we refuse to say we want to fight these principalities and powers and wicked forces. Now, what I'm telling you is in that literature book that I'm not sure Mr. Femi Falana actually knows or no, he was quoting from the literature book called the Bible, Ephesians chapter 6. That we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and rulers of darkness. And he highlighted 4 things besides prayer only, which we have always focused on in the context of Nigeria, spending 7 days and 21 days praying, but we don't tell the truth. We still give bribe. We take bribe. If a revolution is going to start against the principalities that have ruled that country over the years, then we have to start to stand up for what? For the truth. Even in the country that we all want to jackpot to go to, it's not a perfect place. They hold each other accountable. Each other, they hold accountable. They learn to tell the truth. And where lie is told, we hold each other accountable. We stop selling our conscience. We stop enabling these principalities and powers, all in the name of free speech. I make a choice. It's my choice. Whatever I choose, it's my business. Agreed. Your choice is respected. But your choice have consequences, not just now, for generations to come. And for us to fight these principalities, we don't need to go to the moon to look for the weapon, because the weapon has already been provided. Truth, Ephesians chapter 6. Now, for those of you again who are familiar with the literature book, 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 4 to 6, I pick verse 6. He said, having in readiness to revenge all disobedience when my own obedience has been fulfilled. So I have to do something first, which is fulfill my own obedience by not giving bribe or taking bribe against that principalities, because the police are the one who give bribe. The person in the offices are the one who give bribe. They are all principalities, and we work in them, in those offices. Some of us, our parents work there, our brothers work there. These are all principalities and what? And powers and forces that have refused the nation to be one of the greatest nations in the world, despite the resources that we have. To fight corruption is when you and I stand up. The revolution is about the truth. Those of us who travel in diaspora, when we're going back home and we're leaving, stop bribing immigration officers. That's the truth. There are equally also principalities and powers and monstrous forces. When we stop bribing immigration officers, when we stop bribing police officers, when each and every one of us start to tell each other the truth and uphold the core values of this thing is in the Constitution. It listed everything before it went to prayer. But unfortunately, we have topped up prayer and we don't tell each other the truth. Because the truth is what matters. The truth is what principalities and powers and monstrous forces are actually afraid of. And if we're going to do this revolution and get it right, we just have to what? Tell each other the truth. So even though the question is directed at the president, it's equally directed at you and I. Who is steering us? What is steering us to what? to carry out this act of wickedness to ourselves and to generations to come. Some people, like I said, have come on this platform to defend principalities and powers and these monstrous people, all in the name of, I choose to vote whoever I want to vote for. Of course. And that is why we are here today. That is why you see the Naira keep falling. That is why you see inflation is at the highest record. Because why? Something stirs in us. We do it not for the good. A good name is better to be chosen. A good man leave inheritance for his children's children, which I stated earlier. Inheritance is not only physical, material things, such as house, car, whatever. These things are good. Inheritance also include the legacy I left behind of truth, of transparency, of accountability, holding each other accountable, and calling each other out for good, for the purpose of change. So who is steering me? Who is steering you? Or what is steering you and what is steering me? That's why I said don't answer the question, because most likely we will answer the question wrong. We have to look into that mirror. What Mr. Falana said is spot on. That we are dealing with principalities and forces. Unfortunately, some of us are these principalities and forces and have turned ourselves into monsters to bring down the country. We have to tell each other the truth if we are going to get it right. If we're going to get it right, we have to start not to give bribe or take a bribe. If every transporter, for example, decide that today I am not going to give bribe to the police officer, then every transporter also must ensure to have their papers also in place, such as their driver's license, their insurance, only what the law requires, have it. And when the law does not require it, nobody should ask you. That is how revolution is going to start. Mr. Falana went further ahead, stating that revolution, we should stop buying things from the United Kingdom or wigs and this. And that is fair enough. We should. But before we go that far to the Western world, or not to buy things just to promote our own, let's do the needful first, the one in our backyard, the one staring in front of us. Because when we start this needful of telling each other the truth, holding each other accountable, then we can extend it further by not giving or taking bribe within ourselves. Who is steering you? What is steering you? For those of you joining in the comment section, thanks for coming into the comment section. I will be highlighting your comment soon. Who is this? Electricity, give us light. Let there be light and receive it by faith. Doctor, this is not. Please, Dr. David, I just a video you uploaded where Adekola Fire was talking about women. Need to know, find the full video. Well, I hope Dr. Rudolph will see that. Okay, I'm not Dr. Rudolph. Okay, thanks for that. Good evening, Comfort. And Nigeria qualified for ASCON. Yes, I have congratulated us. It's a great feeling again for us to win, and which is very good. Respect to you too. And I saw Peter be at the stadium with the supporters. Even Akpabio was there too. So it's a good thing for that. Who is the Father? Prayer for Nigeria continuous existence is a sin against God's will. God has had enough of Nigerian evil against citizens. Nigeria is an evil contraption that shouldn't exist in the first place. Now, that is not correct. None of your statement is correct, Mr. Foda Sako. Prayer is not a sin. It's not a continuous sin. It's a sin against God's will. No. The problem is we put it first and ignore the other things. And it becomes ineffective. For example, if I pray, you are my worker, for example, I pay you salary. I'm required to pay you salary on time. But I refuse to pay you salary, or I hold back your salary and I go and pray. That prayer is worthless because a laborer is worthy of his wages. I am supposed to pay you your salary. I am meant to pay you your salary. I am required to be fair to you. It's just like the issue of people talking about tithe and offering. Take a read at this. Take a read at this. It says here, you are hopeless. You religious scholars and Pharisees, you keep meticulous account books, tithing on every nickel and dime you get. But, come on. But on the meat of God's law, things like fairness and compassion and commitment, the absolute basics, you carelessly take it or what, or you leave it. So you can see that the basics, the important thing, the most important thing is for you and I to act fairly towards each other, to have compassion and be committed to the cause of human growth. But we leave that the same way we go about praying and not doing what is right, what we are actually supposed to do, putting the horse before the cat, putting the cat before the horse, I beg your pardon. We do the reverse. So there is no way I will say I am going to pay my tithe and I've not paid you salary. Or you are hungry, I didn't give you food to eat. It's useless. It ain't gonna work. It's ineffective. And that is the situation we face back here, that we must ask ourselves, even though this is directed at the president based on his statement that, oh, he deserved to be what? He deserved Guinness World Record recognition for economic reform. It's entitled to it. In response, Peter Obi said he's spot on if his claim is that if he agrees that he caused Nigerians the most hardship. And here it is again. But there was none like unto Ahab, which did sell himself to work wickedness in the sight of the Lord, whom Jezebel, his wife, stirred up. You see, he has an enabler. He has what? An enabler. So when we look at the principalities and powers that have existed in that country, they did not exist on their own. They have enablers. And most of them are citizens. Ordinary citizens like you and I. We enable them. Sometimes we turn ourselves into these principalities and monstrous forces. Because what? Because we believe that material things is more important than integrity. Material acquisition is more important than what? Than integrity, than honesty, than transparency. Hence, we find ourselves where we are today. The country who have achieved it, they are still working on this in every time. They don't have two heads. They have one head, just like you and I. They hold each other accountable. There's crime still goes on there. The recent crime in the UK, the man that used alkaline acid to hurt someone. They're searching for him. There's crime everywhere. Nowhere there is no crime. But ours is different because why? We enable each other. Particularly, we enable our leaders. When the time for us to vote comes around, we sell our conscience. What do you think we are doing? We're enabling the principalities and powers and these monsters to ride on. And over the years, look at where we are today. So if we are going to start that change, we must start to tell each other the truth. Father, you said, how can you join different people in a country with gun on their head to remain in it without any chance for them to determine if they want to be together and yet expect peace and progress? To achieve what you are talking about, there's what we call referendum. In the Republic of Ireland, there's going to be a referendum to change the wordings of what family is. The choice is for the people to vote. So if we are going to split the country into 20, let's just go for that. No, 20 is too much. Split it into 5. There has to be a referendum. And it has to be enshrined into the Constitution. We are telling each other the truth now. And for it to be enshrined into the Constitution, citizens must go to their legislators in their constituency and make this demand. That's how it works. Go ask anybody. Go ask lawyers. Go ask Femi Falana. He's going to tell you. You can achieve this by war. You have legislators in your constituency. And should they fail to yield to this, then you have the option to vote them out, to recall them. No, this is what I keep saying. Don't say black people for the most part are incapable of taking deep. No, that is still incorrect. Like I said, what is steering you for the circle? What is steering you? What is steering you? We are not at the bottom of the race. Agreed. Except referendum, nothing meaningful will happen. But how do we achieve this referendum? How do we achieve this referendum? It's when you and I, the citizens, we start to tell each other the truth. Because we don't like to tell each other, or we tell each other the truth, but we don't take it. You are spot on in that last statement. Except referendum, nothing meaningful will happen. And that is the truth. I agree with you on that 100%. And that is why I've always said that the powers that are right now, the so-called Peter Obi, what's his name, Mr. Femi Falana, and Showore, and all those people that says they care for the people. Yeah, benefit of doubt. Why are they not campaigning and pushing for a referendum? Campaigning, educating the masses on referendum to achieve this. There's nothing wrong if we say the country should be split into 2, into 3, into 4, if it's going to help. But take note of this. If we don't achieve that change even before we split, start to tell each other the truth, stop giving bribes, stop enabling principalities and powers, then even if we split to 50, the problem will still exist. We need to deal with the fundamental issues first. Bro, those legislators will never ever give you a referendum because referendum will change the status quo. I'm confused there for it. Like, I appreciate your comments. Even if it's you and I alone here, we are making sense. Earlier you said, except a referendum, nothing meaningful will happen. Now you are saying, Bro, those legislators will never ever give you referendum because referendum will change the status quo. That is not correct. Who says? How do you arrive at that conclusion, that argument that they will never give you referendum, whereby they are serving you? They are meant to serve the citizens. Are you suggesting that the citizens are such powerless we cannot? Let's ask ourselves that question. Let's ask ourselves. See, the restructuring of the country is in our hands. Remember what Mr. Fowler said, that we are dealing with principalities and powers, and these principalities and powers live among us. We know them. Some of them can even be you and I. Because we've taken a position against progress. That is it. We've taken a position against what? Against development. Even the street chairman, also, when they contribute money and giving, cannot give account of money he contributes for, maybe for security, for any other thing. See, we need to ask ourselves, what is steering us? Who is steering us? That's why I said, before we answer that question as to who is steering Mr. TINUBU, we need to look into the mirror first. Or else you are going to throw a stone and you forget that one of your family lives in a glass house and it's going to affect them. Mr. Fallon was quoting from Ephesians chapter 6, the literature book of the Bible. We wrestle not against, but against principalities and powers and rulers of darkness that have possessed human beings, but they can be overcome. They are not above overcoming. Bro, Jesus Christ, bro. Listen, do you even know what Nigeria is? Of course I do. A country that will clearly massacre our citizens just for asking for good governance. Listen, it ain't gonna come easy. It ain't gonna come cheap. But when we start to think about ourselves and think about the generations to come, think about our children, our children's children, then we will have to do this. We will have to do this. No country has achieved where they are today, that most of us jackpot to without sacrifice being made. And clearly, let me be honest with you, if 20 million Nigerian citizens, just for 20 million is too much, 10 million Nigerian citizens should stand up today. Tell me how many people they will kill in that 10 million. Have one heart and have this goal to stop giving and taking bribe, to uphold, defend the core value of the Constitution. 10 million out of 200 plus million. We have to come to that point to make that decision. How many people the police wants to kill? How many people will the principalities and powers kill? The monstrous forces. And that is what Mr. Fowler is saying. We need to unify. We need unity to achieve this. We need unity. Comfort, you're asking me who are the principalities. I want to know. You want me to mention names? Okay. Do you give bribe or take bribe? Answer that question. If you can answer that question, I will answer your question. Comfort, do you give bribe or take bribe? In the context of what you said, what are these principalities? Do you give bribe and take bribe? Can you answer that question, please? Have you thought about the Islamization and Fulanization that David Cameron a few months ago declared as an Islamic country? That's David Cameron's opinion. He declared, it's his opinion. He just I mean, I'm just hearing that for the first time. He's entitled to his opinion. How is Nigeria as Islamic nation, Islamization? For crying out loud, what's this country? Dubai is an Islamic nation. But I bet you, further Sako, if someone comes to tell you, I don't know where you are, if you are in Nigeria, if you are in Nigeria and someone comes to tell you that he's taking you to Dubai, where there's 24 electricity, you are not going to think twice and say that it is an Islamic nation where you will get jobs, you will work, and your family will live in peace. You will abide by that, their Islamic rule, not to kiss on the street, not to hold hands. Now their women are driving. So answer the question for that, Soka. That is if you are in Nigeria. Just hypothetically imagine yourself in Nigeria. And I come and tell you, Foka, I'm taking you to Dubai. I'm giving you a good job, good health care, constant electricity. Will you say it's an Islamic nation? No, you won't say so. So that's David Cameron's opinion. He's looking for publicity, in my own opinion. So it doesn't need publicity anyway because he was one time a prime minister. So they will remember him. So comfort, no electricity. I don't give bribe or take bribe. Then you are not a principality, nor an enabler, for the record. You are not a principality, nor an enabler. And continuing it, we need many more like you, comfort, that will not give or take bribe. So we have comfort, who willing to tell the truth to the authority. So there is no point. Like I said, this is we have to look into the mirror. Whatever I'm telling you is applicable to me as well too. So I'm not sitting down here, on any moral high ground. No, we just need to get it right. So if you look at the steps we need to take to fight principalities, truth, righteousness, which is right standing, doing right. Daniel is one man that fought principalities. By what? By not taking or giving bribe. He was one of the 3 prime ministers that all governors report to. But because of the integrity he displayed and the accountability he displayed, Darius said all governors, including the other 2 prime ministers, as at then, to report every account to him. And they tried to blackmail him, to break the law of the land. They looked for skeletons in his cupboard. They found none. So if he can achieve it, you and I can achieve it. So dealing with principalities, one of the rule is truth. One of the weapon, truth. Be true to your conscience. Let's be true to our conscience. Let's vote right. Let's speak right. Don't enable these principalities. The moment we stop enabling them, you will see their power start to go off. They are going to resist. There's going to be resistance. Nobody holds on to power and wants to leave it. It's not his opinion, bro. He is a foreign secretary. Remember, he said he's a foreign secretary in the UK. Listen to a recent thing that happened in UK, where a girl singing a Christian song was told by a police not to. But the policewoman, a volunteer, was rebuked immediately. So it's everywhere. She's not a Muslim. The policewoman is not a Muslim. There's challenges everywhere. But saying the country has been Islamatized or Fulanized, come on. It's just trying to create more division. Of course we can. Do you think we can apply the Daniel and the 3 books template? Of course we can. We can apply the template. Maybe not in the same setting, but it's the same template, which is the truth. Truth is truth. There's no gray area to it. Truth in Nigeria is truth in Kafanchan, is truth in Angola. Truth is truth. Good morning is good morning. Good afternoon is good afternoon. The sunrise and the sunset. The timing may be different given to your geographical location, but the sun will rise and it will set. So it's the same thing. It's the same template. We're not going to achieve this with a different, there's no different template anywhere. Am I saying that there's a perfect system? Absolutely not. But they try to achieve, they hold each other accountable. They hold each other accountable. They don't enable each other. The United Kingdom left EU. Things continue the same way. Electricity continue. People get their social benefit. People get jobs. So if we have referendum and we split out, who says there's going to be war? No, we don't have to go that war part. It's a referendum. And where I stand in, I said, that is the path Kanu should have taken. It has the momentum to ask the people to demand through their legislators, putting the cart before the horse. It speaks the mind of the government. What kind of education do we have as a people? Well, I have good education. I don't know what education you have. Comfort. Bribe is one of the strongest weapons against them. I must say the founder of bribe is from our forces down to what? To the civilian. Of course. From the civilian to the forces. Bet me, if you and I decide not to give or take bribe, give and take bribe, you will see that revolution will happen. If you and I will speak the truth to each other, we will see that revolution will happen. If you and I will make that decision to say, oh, no, enough is enough. We need to change the narrative. Have this rebellious hope. Then we will see a change. But if not, we'll be running in circles. And what Mr. Falana said will continue to be in place. The principalities and power. Again, I am going to highlight this. Which is this? But none. There was none like unto Ahab, which did sell himself to work wickedness in the sight of the which whom Jezebel, his wife, stirred up. Who and what is stirring you up? He has a enabler. She also have a enabler. She paid people to be false witnesses against Naboth. Same way we've been paid to what? To vote wrongly, not to vote rightly. I beg your pardon. What are we doing? We're enabling the principalities and the forces. The delegates sold. Ghana must go, allegedly, Ghana must go back. Dollars. What are they doing? You're enabling the principalities and forces. They become monsters. And now they are choking us. And we are saying, oh, they don't care for us. That's why I say, look into the mirror. Look into the mirror. I'm changing the question as to who is steering you. It's no longer who is steering the president. Who is steering you? To wit, you turn yourself to principalities and power, or you enable principalities and powers and they become monsters, who is steering you? These are the questions. This is a question that we need to look into the mirror before we answer. It's not a jam question that you have to answer in 30 seconds or interview question that you have to answer to get. No. Take your time. Don't rush to answer it. Because by rushing to answer this question, you probably get it wrong. Who is steering you? Dealing with the principalities and forces is when we start to what? Tell each other the truth. Stand up for the truth. Not just tell each other the truth. Stand up for it. We have to learn to apply it. I beg your pardon. It's more than one, so the them is supposed to be it. We will need it throughout your life, throughout my life. Because truth you don't need to defend the truth. You only defend a lie. You need 10 lies to cover one. But you don't need to defend the truth. Daniel was in Babylon. For those of you who know history about Babylon, but he still stood out. And this testimony is upon him. He was totally exemplary and trustworthy. They could find no evidence of negligence or misconduct. No evidence of negligence or misconduct. It is possible. You and I have to come to that point. Whether you agree with that literature book or not, Mr. Femi Falana just quoted from it. Strangely, most people do not get it. Some people do. So let's look into the mirror. Someone asked a question, I think 2 broadcasts ago. What is the role of religious leaders in a decaying society? Until we stay away, I'm not saying prayer is not essential. It is essential. But like I said, there's no point I pay my tithe and I'm owing you salary. How am I being fair? How is that being fair? They need to teach you the truth. And if they don't, it's up to you to search for the truth yourself. Comfort, what are you saying again? But electricity, we can't just stop bribery when our system is faulty. Before stopping the bribery, we have to fix our system. I don't understand this, Comfort. Comfort, fixing our system is to stop giving bribe and taking bribe. What do you want to fix? It starts from somewhere. For example, hypothetically, look at all the transporters. In fact, motorists, not just transporters, that we decide or decided not to give policeman bribe. All, without exception. Let's use Lagos State as what? As a case study. Everyone decides, you know what? Let the sky fall. We want a change. We want transparency. We want to be different. We are not going to give bribe. In turn, the police will tell the government, you have to pay us our salary. You see how revolution starts without carrying weapon. But truth itself, not giving bribe or taking bribe itself, it's a weapon. It's a weapon on its own. And that's how we fix the faulty system. If you say we have to fix our system, what system are you referring to? Please clarify yourself. because the system itself is faulty. Is there another system you are referring to? What system are you referring to if the system is not already faulty? Imagine I go to the airport, I refuse to give bribe. I carry the required luggage. So it's at the discretion of the airline if they want to pass it through or not, but not for me to give bribe for them to pass it through. It's at the discretion of the airline if my 23 kg goes to 24 and they say, you know what, it's all right, 1 kg is like 1 kg, we'll let 1 kg go. But not for somebody to demand money to say, you know what, I'm going to let, you have to pay for this 1 kg. Give me a bribe, I'll let it go. Or go pay officially for it. The change starts from you and I. Exactly. The police takes bribe because their salary is poor. So if you and I refuse to give them bribe, they in turn will go to the person who is supposed to pay them salary. Then that is how the revolution will now start. The chain will start there. How many people do they want to kill? How many people? So we are dealing with principalities. And to deal with principalities, these are the ways we have to deal with it. But they're not going to tell you the truth. There has to be motivation and incentive. Thank you for those of you in the comment section again. There has to be motivation and incentive to discourage bribery. Do you think a policeman with good salary would embarrass themselves collecting 50 naira? The same thing Comfort just said. No. It's as a result of their salaries not being paid. That's why they collect bribe. But if you and I stop giving them bribe, then they will channel their anger to the right source. There is no any other answer to it. They will channel their anger, their frustration to the right source, not to you and I. Then you and I also need to get every necessary thing done in respect to our vehicle and obey the rules of the road. He has to start somewhere. And we can achieve this thing. It's just unfortunate that we keep making excuses. They are too powerful for us. They have more money than us. Come on. They don't. It's what they've made us to believe. So, you are 100%, they are not well paid. I don't fight the police because they are not well paid. But how long are we going to continue with this? Because they are not well paid, we should continue giving bribe. What are we doing? We are enabling principalities, turning them into monsters. And when they turn against us tomorrow, we say they are turning against us. She means make it less attractive to accept or give bribe. Merely hoping is stopped by talking about it is not. Means make it less attractive to accept or give bribe. What I'm struggling to understand this, your clarification. She means make it less attractive to accept or give bribe. How do you make it less attractive? How do we, Dominic, if you don't mind, how do you make it? I mean, is it different from what you just said now? There has to be a motivation and incentive to discourage bribery. Pay the police. What incentive do they want? What incentive do you want not to give bribe? Get your papers right. Just stand on the truth. Just say, no, I'm not giving bribe. My papers are complete. Listen, like I said, if all motorists, I'm using Lagos State as what? As a case study. All motorists decide today, in fact, half of motorists, either public transporter or private owners, decide to say, you know what, enough of this bribe. We need to get things right. We need to fight against these principalities and powers and monsters. Because you and I sometimes we enable them. You and I are equally also these principalities and powers. And I'm telling you from that literature book, if any person tell you otherwise, don't believe them. Refer them to that literature book, that this is how it states that we should fight principalities and powers. Yes, prayer is essential, but there is no point you praying. You're wasting your saliva if you still give and take bribe. It ain't gonna work. Forget it. There's no point you paying tithe and not giving offering if you still give bribe and take bribe. It ain't gonna work. It's counterproductive. It's there in the literature book called the Bible. And I'm bringing it to you in its most simplicity. Let anybody challenge it. Example, when you go to withdraw money from the bank, why do you think the cashier can't ask for bribe or take bribe? The bank system is set up to take out opportunity of the bribery away from the cashier. When you go withdraw money from, do you have to give the cashier money? If the cashier asks you money, do you have to? Do you have to? That is, answer that question. Do you have to? Do you have to? Please, Dominic, I want you to answer the question. When you go to withdraw money from the bank, do you have to give the cashier money? The cashier is carrying out a service, a duty that he or she is employed to do. The cashier is being paid salary. So why do you have to give the cashier money? Can you answer the question? Thank you, DJ Dodoye. Thanks for that comment. If I don't make sense, please make sense for her. I didn't put the link there because I can put the link there for people to come on the platform, but I don't want. But your comment is noted. If I don't make sense, can you make sense, Star? I mean, I appreciate having panelists, but I don't necessarily have to. Sometimes I like to stand on low. I take comment from people in the comment section. If you watch my broadcast, I am a comment section person. They post the comments, we discuss. That is what we do. But seeing that you know better than us, please allow us to make sense. Make sense to us in respect to the subject we are talking about. Weigh in on it. Your comment is, I will highlight it. Don't worry about it. No offense taken. If you feel I'm not making sense, can you point out how I'm not making sense? Please do. So, back to you again. Dominic, do you have to give the cashier money? If you can answer this question, then we can move forward. But if you cannot answer the question, then you are agreeing with me. Dominic, I'll come to you. Okay, please. Okay. Okay, please stop referencing the Bible. Why should I stop referencing the Bible? It is your fundamental right to sit behind the keyboard and type. It is my fundamental right to reference anything. And if the platform does not forbid me, then what? Why should I stop? Give me a reason. Give me one reason why I should stop referencing the Bible. If it upsets you, is it upsetting you? Give me one reason, DJ, why you said I should stop referencing the Bible. Because you are making sense now. And I appreciate people who make sense. Dominic, I'll come to you. Say reference other books. What book do you want me to reference? Make a suggestion. Is it Shakespeare? Romeo and Juliet? Which books do you want me to reference? Of course, we are not all Christians here, and I agree with you. But you will also agree with me that truth has nothing to do with Christians or not. Do you agree with me that truth or telling the truth, upholding the truth, standing on the truth has nothing, giving and not taking bribe has nothing to do with being Christians? Do you agree with that? So if you are offended by me referencing telling the truth, that means I'm doing a good job. So tell me, what have I said now that, as per referencing, extracting what Mr. Femi Falana said, maybe you didn't listen to the video, I'm going to play it for you, that we are dealing with principalities and powers. I am referencing, maybe that is not where he extracted it from, but I'm referencing where I also read it from. And you are taking offense in it. I don't understand. Even the Quran will tell you not to give bribe or take bribe. Quote me wrong. I believe the Quran tells us to be fair to one another. Quote me wrong. I believe the Quran said we should treat each other with respect. Prove me wrong. And what I am talking about, even the Constitution says we should not give or take bribe. What is wrong with that? You are not offended, so why are you now suggesting or saying I should stop referencing the Bible? No, I won't. I won't stop referencing it until Rudolph tells me himself to say, you know what, his platform does not allow it. Then I'm gonna bow out. But I'm telling you, I take the Constitution, I take the scripture to buttress the Constitution, because it's there that you should not give bribe, because bribe will blind your judgment. You lose your power when you give bribe or take bribe. You have no say. When you sell your conscience for a bag of rice just to vote for the principalities and power, what do? You've sold your conscience. You've sold your power. So where do we read that from? Let me come to you, Dominic, before I got distracted. Here. Dominic, thanks for your example. When you go to withdraw money from the bank, okay, I think I've dealt with this. I asked you a question. You came back again and you said, what if the bank hasn't paid the cashier for 6 months? Can she game the system and ask for bribe? It is a system that removes the loophole for bribery from the cashier. Why won't the bank not pay the cashier? So she should take it up with the bank. You see, we have to start from somewhere. If I refuse to give the cashier money, bribe, for collecting my money that I kept in the bank, the cashier should in turn go to our employer and say, listen, I need my salary. I'm working here. There's money in the system. Why am I not being paid salary? It's just like pensioners who are not being paid. Sometimes you hear that the money meant for the pensioner, one man went to put it in a bank. It's not that the money is not there. The money is there. But one person decides. Until we start to react or we start to act, I beg your pardon, we're going to see a change. Well, this is just making excuses. We are making excuses. And if we stop making excuses, we'll get it right. You said the cashier can't ask for money. There are cameras, there's transactional trail in the banking system. So, of course, the cashier can't ask for money. But the cashier can ask an employer to pay her salary. I don't understand. Why would the cashier ask for money? Why would the cashier ask for money? Why? If you want to give the cashier money out of your own good heart, you give the. But if it is a matter of bribery, it's a matter of you bribing the cashier or the cashier asking you for money, that is bribery. That is bribery. So you said technology, digitalization, a lot of things can take away opportunities of bribery. That is correct. All those things are necessary. A trail, technology, digitalization. But you cannot have technology and digitalization without a constant electricity. That's why you see that my nickname there is electricity. So we have to start somewhere. Yes, it will take away bribery, but the one you and I need to do is the focus. I don't need technology to give and not to take bribe. If you ask me for bribe, I won't give you. If you ask me to transfer it, I ain't gonna transfer it. I ain't gonna transfer it. If you've ever stepped away from the shores of Nigeria and come to here, where people walk, you go to anywhere, they are being paid for the services they offer. Even if you want to give them money, they will tell you put it in the either in the charity box, except you go to the pubs or the restaurant where you tip them, and there's accountability for that. It's not by force. It's not by force for you to tip. So if you say they should tip, that is a different story entirely. But I'm being specific on the issue of corruption, bribery, taking bribery, that has plagued the nation. That is not tipping, for crying out loud. Let's be honest with ourselves. We're here to tell each other the truth. We are here to tell each other the truth. Talking about Falana, who is another tribal bigot, pretending otherwise. During the EndSARS that could have changed the trajectory of Nigeria, Falana accusing Nnamdi Kanu of instigating the destruction. I don't know about that, so I cannot weigh in on that. You say you are not offended. Well, thank you for not being offensive. Many people have capacity for bribery, including in the West. But the difference is the system takes away opportunities for bribery and also insensitive bribery. Trust tech and not human behavior. Listen, my brother, who build these technologies? Human beings. And human beings are also there to manipulate this technology. They try. Human behaviors matters a lot. Human behaviors matters far above tech. Because not everything you apply technology to. Me being respectful to you has got nothing to do with technology. Me regarding you as human being is not technology. Me having compassionate heart for the people that I serve is not technology. No, how is that technology? Me being accountable, transparent, is not technology. I'm going to input everything, information into the technology, but it is my behavior that determines what I put in, what information I insert into that technology. It is what my behavior, human behavior, that determine what I typed into there. So instead of typing 1,000, I typed 1 million. Is it tech? It's my behavior. I could equally write it. The same way I will write it, the same way I'm going to type it. Human behaviors. Trust human behaviors. Human behaviors is the focus. Technology is just there to aid us. If you close your computer, for example, and you don't open it for the next 1 year, and you left it in one position, it's going to be there. The information on the internet is human being that imputed it into it. It didn't come fall from the sky. The law says that. Says what, please, Joe? I don't know what the law says. What does the law says, please, if you don't mind? Thank you. You are making sense. You are coming down to our level. You know you are up high there, so we are low below. Okay. So, but Nigerians are trapped between bad leadership and ethnic bigotry. Something has to give. We are in trouble. Thank you for that, Bugsy. Something have to give. But I'm not really worried about ethnic bigotry. Yes, I know it plays it plays a factor into our division. But we had a broadcast here some time back, and I apportioned tribe and religion to the panelists. I think we're about 6 on the platform. And I asked this question: which among you here don't like electricity? I acknowledge their tribe that are portioned to that are allocated to them. Which one of you here don't like good health? Don't like good road? Don't like good job, good infrastructure, good governance? None of them answer. So you see, we have something more than one that unite us. The things that unite us, I beg your pardon, are more than the things that divide us. The things that unite us are more than the things that divide. Unfortunately, we focus on the things that divide us. Because trust me, Bugsy, if we have a constant electricity in Nigeria, you will not care if I'm an Igbo man. You will not care if I'm a Yoruba man. You will not care who is that, because your life is just going on. You are doing your business. Nothing will divide you, because constant electricity does not know whether you are an Igbo man or you. As long as you pay your bills, that's how we operate. That's how it rolls. Of Lagos, and according to Fana, Nnamdi Kanu is not Yoruba, yet instigating the destruction of Yoruba land. The end SARS was the opportunity and last opportunity for a real change in Nigeria, but now it's not the last chance. It was an opportunity, but not the last chance. If he said that, it's up to him to clarify himself. I'm not going to defend anyone with what they say. McNally, good evening. Longest time to you. How have you been? How has your week been? The cashier always expects a gunje, so you don't give. You don't give. I mean the tip. We go to restaurants here with tip. You are not under any obligation. People were suffering. Of course, they are obliged to take in bribes. This man is truly making sense. Magna, I have a hang of what you're saying, but the system is set up in a way to encourage bribe. How is this? No, the system is not set up to encourage bribe. Please. Even if, okay, let me agree with you that the system set up, let's go by the word set up to encourage bribe. So if the system is set up to encourage bribe, that means we can reset it. You know, when your system, your computer behave or your phone behave, you go back to resetting, to factory setting. So let's go back, let's reset ourselves and stop giving bribe. If the system is set up, you do a refactory setting. The mind, we need to reset our mind, our mind. We need to reset it by stop giving bribe and taking bribe. It's a system that was set up, but it's stuck in our mind here. We set it up. We can what? We can demolish it and restart all over again. That's the point. Ethnic bigotry from people like Falana stopped the movement. If it takes destroying Lagos just to rebuild a working there, then I will say yes. But because Nigeria is not one country, I will never. You're entitled to your opinion. It's respected. Is there anything different from bribe and tips at light? Yes, there's a difference between giving bribe and tip. I don't have to bribe you to do your job, and you don't have to bribe me to do my job. I can tip you for doing a good job, but you don't have to demand that I give you tip or I bribe you. When you start making demand for it, then there's something else. It now becomes wrong. Actually, is tip the same as bribe? I just explained that. Tip is not the same as bribe. But tip becomes bribe when you demand it, that I must tip you. Why must I tip you? Is it by force? Am I not paying for the services? I'm paying for the services now. So why must I tip you? You don't have to tip. I've gone to restaurants. I don't have to tip. I don't want to tip. After I paid for the food is not free. It was an issue here once. The food is not free. I paid for it. So why must I tip you? Now, I can tip just to say thank you for the services or anything, this and that. But you're not obligated to tip. When I point a gun at you, I say you must give me 50 naira. Is that tip? Or I beat you, I say if you don't give me this money, is that tip? That's not tip. Both Dominic and Comfort make valid points. Look at the police, what they do. Even at the High Commission in London, some staff collect bribe. You see? That is true. Some staff collect bribe, but because we give, let's just imagine for once we don't give. And you don't have to give. That is the point. You don't have to. If we start from there, start to hold each other accountable, not to give. I'm not denying the suffering or dismissing the hardship in the country. But the hardship will not go away if we continue to make excuses and embrace this foolishness. It won't go away. It will be there. We will die and leave it. Our children will come and meet it. But what legacy do we want to leave behind? That's the question we should be asking. How do we fight this, dealing with these principalities that have turned themselves to monsters? If you and I, let's eliminate the fact that we are not ourselves principalities and powers. But when we stop enabling these principalities and powers, we see them every day. Whether they are possessed by the devil, but we see them every day. Every day. Every blessed day. We deal with them. So when you go to church and pray against principalities and power, and you drive to the road and still give bribe, what are you doing? That prayer is useless. Quote me on that. I will defend it. I make no apology. Oh, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and powers and rulers of darkness, this and that, blah, 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 blah. And you finish praying and you get on the road. And the policeman asks you to give you 50 naira and you get 50 naira. Tell me, how have you wrestled against that principalities and power? How? How have you wrestled against it? How can you overcome that principalities and power? Answer that question if you can. Last example, Dominic. He said, if you empower a cashier at a school to accept process school fees versus asking parents to pay directly into school bank, which one is prone to bribery? Last example, if you empower a cashier at a school to accept and process school fees versus asking parents to pay directly into school bank account, which one is prone to bribery? The first one is prone to, well, I won't use the word bribery. The first one is prone to, if I am the cashier, I can get tempted to take the money. So we come down to human behaviors. But for transparency purposes, it's often better to pay directly into what? Into the account. You are not encouraging bribery for me to go and pay, for the school authority to say, come to the school to pay the school fees. Receipts will be issued. Am I encouraging bribery? No. Bribery is not being encouraged. Because the instruction is, or the policy is, we accept cash here. Cash only, for example. Cash only, a receipt will be issued for you. The receipt issue you a receipt, and you what? And you have your receipt as an evidence that you've paid, just in case there's any dispute. So it's not left for that cashier to be transparent. Or if you now go to that cashier and say, you know what, I can't pay the school fees completely. You have it, but you cannot pay. You don't want to pay it completely. You take half. You take some. You give the cashier some. What are you doing? Ask yourself that question. Are you not encouraging it? You are the one encouraging it, not the school. If you don't have a full, complete money, then you deal with you negotiate with the school authority. I don't think they're that unreasonable. I speak from experience. I don't think they're that unreasonable that, oh, the school fees is 50,000 naira. I pay 10,000 naira today. I pay 10,000 naira the following week. I pay this. I don't think they are that unreasonable. It's good you pay it into account. It's easier. You don't need a receipt. It's reflecting your account. So they can trace, paper trace, they can trace it. If there's any discrepancies, you can trace it. McNally, the system is doomed. Until then, nothing will change. The High Commission is away from the motherland, but the system is set up to encourage. I will suggest you put everything in context. I think were you the one that said mention of this? If something is set up to encourage bribery, we can reset it. That is why they have reset button. Mark, let me ask you a question. Do you know there's what they call reset button? Please, I need you to answer that question. This is between you and comfort. McNally, do you know there's what they call reset button? I get what you are saying. Technology is only one part of a puzzle. We need to start somewhere. We can focus on human behavior and tech as well too. Thanks for coming to that conclusion. That is highly appreciated. It is tech that help us catch the current minister chopping money. It is tech that help us gather statistics and expose a lot of clues. Last election is also an example. The numbers don't add up. Yes, but the information are inputted into the system by human. If you are going to send me a text message, technology is that good that you can use voice control. You know what they call hello Google. Sometimes Google don't understand everything. Google don't understand everything when you use hello Google. I say, Google, where is Ajegunle? Google do not understand what Google may got Ajegunle wrong. So you have to now type it. You see, whatever means you are inputting the information into it. You are inputting the information into it. And it stays there. It could as well be written. Yes, but eyes don't read, though. For Naira and dollar matter. What's Comfort saying? At electricity, I'm keeping well, thank you. Brilliant with just the cold weather. Answer my question, McNally. The cold weather never hammer you rich. You never know anything. Go repair Nigeria so that we go the sun. See the cold weather. Do you understand? Do you know what is reset button, McNally? Answer my question. I think the setup can only change when we have independent and strong institutions. People get punished, people get punished will not change. People get punished. I don't understand what you're trying to say. If people don't get punished, they will not change. Is that what they're saying? These institutions you are talking about, remember, it is human being that mans this institution. The institutions are not just standing on there. The judiciary, is it not human beings that are there? I don't understand when we say institution, as if it's the building. Is it an empty building? Is it not human beings that make up this institution? The Court of Appeal, the judiciary, the police barracks. If there is no barracks, if they don't body in that police barracks, why is it a police barracks? It's human beings that make up these institutions. We have we say we have independent and strong institutions. When we mention these institutions, we understand that we are talking about human beings, not the building. Human beings, not the building. So for us to have a strong institution is for you and I to start to change. Except I don't understand what institution means. So if you talk about the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, the police, or whatever institution you're talking about, it's human beings that occupy them, that make up this institution, not animals. Human beings. What are we talking about? I love this itemized topic at electricity. That is what we need in our society. Well, some people are offended by it, or they say they don't like it because they are Christian, they are Muslims, or this and that. We don't like the truth. when you turn on CNN, you tell CNN is doing one broadcast this and that. You tell CNN you don't like it. Continue. According to Comfort. Continue, you go explain tire, no evidence. Wala. Mark, Comfort is thanking you. Electricity, the system is rotten. A lot of work. It is not an easy you make it look. At the airport, I never said it's easy, please. Let's get this right here. I will be unfair to tell you it is easy because I'm equally speaking to myself. I never said this. Change is not easy. Change is not easy, but it is achievable. Change is not easy, but what? But achievable. Nobody have ever said change is easy. Change is not easy, but we can achieve it. We can what? We can achieve it. We can what? We can achieve it. Somebody sent me a quote from the Quran. Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 188. Cautions against the unjust acquisition of wealth and bribing authorities. It serves as a reminder that engaging in corrupt practices disrupt the equilibrium established by Allah, perpetuating sin and injustice. That is from the Quran. I don't know how I can put this up there. Those are the person who is offended or who said we are not all Christians here. I know we are not all Christians here. We are Muslims. Somebody just sent something to me from the Quran, and I'm going to put it up so that you know that we encourage all faiths on this platform as long as we are preaching or teaching the truth or talking about the truth, not promoting religious divide or wanting to be something that we are not. No, not promoting that. So I will put it on here. Let's see, so that we can read it. Somebody just sent me that. Where are down now? I'm not seeing it. So give me 1 second. I'll get it out now. Somebody just sent that to me. Okay, and I will post it and you look at it so that you will know it's a balanced truth. What we want is a balanced truth where we balance things up. Balance here. Let's balance the boat. It's not coming up again. This disappeared. Yeah, I found it. Yeah, we're there. So just give me a moment. Copy here. Then I will have to paste. Give me a moment. I will be with you, Comfort, and other people here. Let me just put this here from the Quran. So if you're a Muslim, you are seeing this. It's more than expected. So equilibrium. So give me 1 second again. I just need to put something here. No. Come on, don't do this to my people there. Yeah, I got it right now. Come on. A moment, please. This is what we call conversation. We're going to get it right. We don't have a choice. We'll get it right. Paste. And here you go. Now, this is it here. Sarah Al-Bakara. So if you're a Muslim, you are there. Can you confirm this for me? Because somebody sent it to me. Chapter 2, verse 188. Cautions against the unjust accusation of wealth. Unjust. Remember, we are talking about bribery because some people have collected bribes to the extent that they've acquired unjust accusation of wealth and bribing authorities, police. It serves as a reminder that engaging in corrupt practices disrupt the equilibrium established by Allah, perpetuating sin and injustice. You see the balance in there? We've balanced the boat, both the port and the starboard. We put enough water there. So those of you who are not Christian, what's it, DJ, whatever it is, I believe you're a Muslim, or you're an atheist, or you're a Buddhist, wherever you are. Truth is truth. It doesn't matter what religion what belief you are lying to. If your belief or your religions encourage lying, then you are certainly a principalities, or a monster, or a force, as described by Mr. Femi Falana. So that's it there. So back to my comment section, people. Where did I stop? I'm here. The system is rotten. Okay, I think I've taken that already. If we really want to stop or fight bribery, let our government do the right thing by increasing our forces' salary. First of all, let them pay first. Before increment, let them pay. Increment will come later. Let the salary go on regularly. I agree with you. They need to pay. But let you and I start our own first. When we start, then they will go to their home. It's just like if you are working, you go and meet your employer to pay you. If the employer says the company is not making money, then you close the company down. You go look for a job somewhere else. That's just the truth. Cashier doesn't have opportunity for bribery. School fees is paid to school account. Agreed. Bottom line is the school doesn't have to bother about cashier's behavior. It didn't give a chance. The school must, when you are employed, there's what they call company policies. To behave yourself in an exemplary manner. No room for misconduct. I put something out here earlier. Where is it? Where are that? It was totally exemplary and trustworthy. They could find no evidence of negligence or misconduct. No evidence of negligence or misconduct. Why wouldn't the school be bothered? I mean, it's not just about cashier. It's not just about cashier. What if you are not a cashier? You mean you cannot misbehave? Is it only cashier? How about those who carry 5 from one table to the other that they want you to bribe them before what? Before they carry your file to another table? Are they cashiers? You are just using one example. You just pick one. How about the immigration officer? Are they cashiers? The police, are they cashiers? The lawmakers, are they cashiers? Answer your own question, Dominic. Institution is a culture and bureaucracy that is self-functional and is not dependent on the actions or policy of a few individuals who want to engage in corruption. Who made the policies? Maybe I don't understand what he has said. Who sat down to write the policies and who ensured that the policies are adhered to? Somebody sat down, or some people sat down to write the policy, just like the Constitution. Institution is a culture and bureaucracy that is self-function and is not dependent on the actions or policy of a few individuals who may want to engage in corruption. So the few individuals that wants to engage in corruption are going against the laid down policies. And such, these people are prevented. They enforce that policy. And when you violate that policy, they take necessary action. Except I don't understand. I need, please, I need education here. Do I not understand what institution means? Self-function. How can institution be self-function and it's not dependent on actions or policy of few individuals? I don't understand. If you commit a crime today, police will arrest you, will charge you based on the law that is already written by some people sat down. I don't understand this. Look at countries that have been able to prosecute their past corruptly. They have strong institutions. They have strong institutions because they make it strong. The institution did not just go strong on its own. The building, they have strong institutions because they hold each other accountable. That's why they have strong institutions. And there are some small individuals who want to destroy that institution, but they do checks, they hold them accountable. We're saying we are coming back. Yeah, they have strong institutions, but they prosecute. So how is that self? They prosecute. They act on the laid down policies. So I don't get you. I don't understand. I know reset, but hence why I said we need independent and strong institutions to checkmate people. And we're saying the same thing. So I think we're overflogging this issue. We are saying the same thing. Human beings, you and I. Come on, McNally. If they appoint you as a police commissioner tomorrow, you have to do your job. You have to carry out necessary disciplinary actions. Ain't gonna work on its own. Somebody has to press the button. You overspeed regardless of who you are, you get a speeding ticket and point on your license. End of month, you get paid, not half paid. Motherland is a different kettle. You overspeed regardless of who you are. Regardless of who you are, if you overspeed, you get a ticket. So you see, people that's an institution that people make work. We'll catch up later. This topic is so complex. However, we should keep the fire. This is one thing about Nigerians. Either we say the topic is so complex, or we say the matter is too deep. So we can't discuss it. What is complex in giving and not giving bribe? Tell me, what is complex there? In not giving or taking bribe. What is complex there? What is complex there? We always make excuses. Our judiciary are the father of bribe and corruption. Comfort. All right. Anyway, thank you for your time for those of you who have joined us here. Remember, I said it is up to you and I to make things work, not to enable these principalities and powers and rulers of darkness. They will come. They will tempt us. They will throw things at us. The wiles of the enemy. They will throw things at us. Nobody worries about witchcraft and this and that thing because because things work. Only where there is no electricity and this, we worry about witches and wizards. Why? Witchcraft is me being wicked to you. End of story. Whatever is stirring me or motivating me to be wicked towards you, that is what witchcraft is defining. Jezebel was regarded as a witchcraft. She did not fly as a witch, I beg your pardon. She did not fly. Her action is the craft. You never see anywhere recorded that Jezebel, who is a witch, was flying from one place to the other. Nah. But with letter writing, with people who enabled her, that sold their conscience to bear false witness. That is the craft behind it. That is the craft behind it. So, I would like to thank you once again, like I said, for being here. 1 hour 45 minutes. So, till I see you again, have a good evening. Somebody, sorry, let me take the last comment again. Comfort said, no grief for them this around when they come for you. Who are talking about? Anyway, have a good evening and thanks for joining. God bless.